That'd be a fun thing to explain to all the Renaissance artists, like especially Donatello. So people know my name? Like, sure,
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort
kind
of.
of.
And how good you were with a bow staff.
What?
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. What?
You do
Yeah, and
computers,
Michelangelo,
right?
you're the funny one. I'm sorry. What?
You're the funny one.
You're the funny one who loves pizza. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck do you
What's
even
a
mean?
party
what do you,
dude?
What the fuck's a car?
What are you even saying to me right now? What is a pizza fan? I don't know what that is. Episode 344 of the TV Dudes, recorded August 4th, 2021. That old magic. That old magic has returned. There's the magic of lost musical towns and Schmigadoon on Apple Plus. And then there's the return of two of last year's favorites, Never Have I Ever on Netflix and Ted Lasso on Apple Plus. Did they live up to the high expectations set? That's what we're here to talk about. Before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Les.
I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. Y'all, I listened to last week's episode, just so you know, while I was making my pilgrimage.
You were in a car for a real long time.
I was. I also listened to 2.5 audiobooks. It was a long drive. Yes.
I apologize for nothing, even though I also remember nothing that I said.
Did you say 2.5 Men audiobooks?
No, I did not listen to 2.5 Men audiobooks. No.
Oh, thank God. I was
The
like, tell me there's
novelization.
not like some really inappropriate Babysitter's Club series that I don't know about.
Yes, the 2.5 Men audiobooks. They're novelizations of the episode.
Well, it's narrated by Charlie Sheen until halfway through.
Yeah.
And then they get Ashton Kutcher.
But yeah, the one thing, and I texted you guys this, and I'm going to say, I cannot believe you guys talked about Turner and Hooch. You talked about Tom Hanks for like 10 minutes, and nobody brought up Hanks Watch. Nobody.
Hanks Watch.
In my defense, I don't know what that is.
During COVID, I got afraid we were jinxing him. So
Yeah, no, I think I dropped the Hanks ball there because I was the one who picked the Hanks ball up to begin with.
Hanks Watch
a
was your baby.
volleyball with a face drawn on it, by the way. That's what the Hanks ball is.
So Nick, Hanks Watch was an Eric Andre show level running gag that made no sense outside
Nope, not at all.
of the three people that are in this Brady Bunch Zoom call with you right now. I think we finally just gave it up of like, is this still funny? Was this ever fun? Okay, we'll just stop.
Les, I need you to explain to me this inside joke in vivid detail so that it's funny.
Yes, let me explain exactly why Hanks Watch is funny. I have a PowerPoint. Let me share my screen. I have a PowerPoint slide presentation.
Since I could not be here for most of last week's discussion, I do want to mention that I really loved Master of the Universe, was surprised, and I felt exactly as you guys did about Turner and Hooch. Although the thing disappointed me about it, and you kept mentioning it was a USA type show, it's because it's Matt Nix who ran Burn Notice.
Oh my God.
That's why it feels like that.
And the thing is, I love Burn Notice, and
Yeah.
so that's my expectations were a little higher.
And The Gifted, they should have unleashed the Knicks.
Yeah,
And
yeah. What hot garbage that show was.
Yeah.
I mean, the dog got into all that hot garbage.
Unleash the Knicks, which is a sex move I definitely don't do.
All right, guys. But having said that, talking about stuff we watched, let's do the TV diaries.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
And I'm going to go ahead and jump in with my own because, I didn't get to do it last week. So mine is a 2-week TV diary.
What did you watch while driving?
I
to
watched-
every destination?
You can watch
Irresponsible.
You can watch a lot of TV while driving. You just keep one eye on the road. It's fine. No, I did not watch as much because of that, but I did watch some before and some after. And I have iPad. I can watch stuff in the hotel Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. So I caught up on Physical. I'm staying up on that. Really enjoying that. I think we're like one episode of the finale. Up on Bad Batch. Up on Good Fight, which is pushing my limits on some of the stories. They're pushing this Diane. Diane is married to basically a Trumper.
The Kurt thing never made sense.
No.
The thing is, like, it's because you got Gary Cole, and you tell me it's Gary Cole. I'm like, yeah, okay, I like him, even though you tell me he's a gun nut right wing guy. But having him like not be able to say straight out, no, I did not vote for Trump, is really bad.
Well, he says it once, But then he says, like, I voted for Ted Cruz.
No, that was the previous election.
That was 2016.
So he said I wrote in Ted Cruz then, and she asked him again.
She asked him this last
You
episode.
gotta be kidding me.
She's like, who'd you vote for in 2020? And I'm like, you got it. Why? I mean, this is not the fault of the character. It is the fault of the writers, because I think that in this latest episode they do this whole thing with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You know, I like to talk to hallucinations. Well, Diane's getting pressure from the black firm, which, by the way, they're 100% right. If Diane was not the lead character that we loved, there's no way I'd be on her side, and I'm not on her side, because she should not be the white head of this black firm. It's not. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And so they, in order to sort of justify this story, they have her talk to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who talks about, like, she asks her, you know, if you knew that Obama was going to nominate a black judge, would you have stepped down? She's like, well, no, I wouldn't have. I'm like, one of the biggest things and they talk about Scalia, because she's trying to make the case of, like, well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a big fan of Scalia's, even though he was so terrible. And you know, that's why Diane and her husband make sense. And I'm like, no, you just nailed Ruth Bader Ginsburg's two biggest failings: that she didn't step aside and cause a Trump to get a judgeship, and that she was friends with Scalia, who was one of the worst people on the planet. I'm glad he's dead. And you're trying to have her step in and say that. It was bad, guys. I still love the good fight, but that storyline is really bad. They're trying to have a real story that's happening in America of folks that have people that got split over this. Yeah. But I don't know, in the absurd kind of overamped goofiness of good fight, it comes, I don't know, it just doesn't work. It's not. It's too much. I need them to resolve it.
They were pushing Kurt's character for me back when he said he voted for Ted Cruz, and I was like, okay, so that's better, I guess. Right? Diane, what are you doing?
Yeah. No, I still hold that Cruz is markedly worse.
And then, like, the Trump brothers, like, almost had a shot him or something when they were on a hunt, like Dick Cheney style.
One did shoot him. Did shoot him.
They did shoot him.
Yeah, straight up, Dick Cheney shot him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he still defends him, like, oh, well, you know, I mean,
they need to.
Everybody has their right to be.
You know, this is the thing that Aaron Sorkin used to do all the time that was really putting irritating. He's like, he so didn't want to be portrayed as liberal that he would make sure that there were conservative characters, and he was like, oh, I'm going to write these good conservatives. I'm like,
Ainsley.
These fictional good conservatives don't exist, and stop trying to make them exist, because it just makes me mad. Kurt needs to break from that party, and it's just instead they're going another direction with it.
I don't think we're in the mood for this. Like, what if just both sides came together and found common ground? Bullshit.
No, there's a story. There should be a story there to me of Kurt being absolutely horrified by, like, what he's labeled himself as his whole life means now.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that this political show that has probably a political left-leaning audience is now alienating that audience, and hope that they're going to get kind of a right-leaning audience that doesn't watch TV like this to watch the show.
But it is a single, technically B plot character. Like,
it's not the main.
It's not in the main cast. So if that's their play, the math on that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's weird because
I just think it's a misstep.
But the Judge Wagner stuff is still great. Like, this episode has Judge Wagner in Jane Curtin's court, and that was just delightful.
But they're still flirting with his financial backer is a Koch brother, basically.
Yeah. They're doing some weird shit this year, but it's good. I like it. But the Kurt stuff is just pushing us a little too far.
If it weren't Gary Cole, I'd have thrown a rock at him by now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also all caught up on Evil. Speaking of the Kings and their shows, caught up on Superman and Lois. Caught up on Assembled. I watched the behind the scenes of Loki. Any of you guys watch that?
No.
Ooh, not yet.
Really good. Really, really enjoyable. And Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston have great sort of buddy chemistry. Whenever you watch these things, it's always like, is this just somebody? Is there a mouse off stage with a gun pointed at you, making you guys act palsy? But it feels genuine enough that I buy it. So I liked it. It was a lot of fun. And then today I discovered that Marvel had dropped 3 of their Legends, their little edited together things for basically leading into the what ifs. There's an Agent Carter one, there's a Ravagers one, and there's an Avengers one. I always liked those, even though it's all footage I've seen 100 times. That was really fun. Caught Master Universe, watched all the homework, and then caught up on Transformers War for Cybertron, the Kingdom. The 3rd series of that came out, and so I watched all of that. So yeah, that's about what I've been up to. Les, what about you?
Let's see. I started rewatching iZombie. I realized I hadn't I've seen it straight through the once when it was airing.
Yeah.
I remembered it being a starting out seeming like a straight up procedural with a fun
Mhm.
premise based on a comic that it utterly ignored other than the title, and then turned into one of the most
Where's
complicated.
my were terrier?
Right, turned into one of the most complicated friggin' shows possibly airing on the CW.
Yeah.
And so in the rewatch, I'm only through the first season, and I can't believe how much shit is introduced right at the start.
I believe that.
I mean, so that by the start of season 2, you're already into some major, no pun intended, plot line.
Yeah.
Also, the puns are as always on point, just spectacular.
Also, Rahul. What's the last name? Rahul.
Yes,
he's the secret
Ravi.
weapon of that show. Ravi.
Yes.
He's the secret weapon of that show, and he gets better and better as they go along.
Yeah, I mean, also the guy playing Major Lillywhite is
so good.
Is like Chris Evans as Captain America good. I mean, like he's just absolute. Everybody on the show delivers.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful.
He's like Captain Awesome from Chuck.
Yes,
great character.
Yeah, absolute secret weapon on a show. I've also continuing to watch iCarly as my doing other kind of shallow work stuff.
So all I shows.
All I shows, as many as I can. It's the 90s.
How many times have you watched I, Frankenstein this week?
Just
Can I ask you a question about that iCarly show?
So what?
No, I saw in the promo, it's like, same iCarly, but we're adults. And
we're
looked
past
like
that. I already rewatched the new iCarly. That's what started this whole thing. I had never seen iCarly before, and I rewatched that reboot because I'd seen those promos and was like, Jesus, they got like
are they
insane,
like drinking and having sex in there?
Like they aged it into like a grown-up sitcom, and I was like, all right, I'm curious how moving to Disney Channel, it's a Nickelodeon show, but like moving a like a teen afternoon snick type show into adult. It's like if Are You Afraid of the Dark literally aged into American Horror Story, you know? Like I want to see how that happened. And so I watched the whatever 6-8 episodes of the new show and was like, all right, I never actually watched the show. I wonder how they actually did, because they're missing the tag team, like the best friend, the Vinny on the Doogie Howser is gone in the reboot. And so like I was wondering what was lost there and whatnot. And what I found is that it's just a pretty decent sitcom. I mean, it's like I know that sitcoms like Melissa and Joey or Home Improvement or whatever get marketed like they are aimed at like, this isn't a grown-up sitcom, and then these are Disney Channel sitcoms. Like bullshit. I remember watching Alf air on a Monday night at 8 p.m. with my parents, and it is like iCarly is absolutely as cromulent a sitcom. So I've been rewatching that or watching that. Also, there's no shit. There's like 40 fucking episodes a season. There's so many of these.
Working them out of the Disney mines.
And Dan Schneider, the guy that created it,
isn't it even more than one a week? What are we doing?
I don't even know. I don't know how many years. Like, there's a gap in time that like these ran in that stopped and then ran back out. Like, I don't know. The guy that show runs these, Dan Schneider, was on Head of the Class back in the day, and now runs this. And there's like 4 or 5 shows that interconnect to this. I saw some article that called him the Norman Lear of children's television.
Wow,
and I have no idea if that's an accurate thing, but that's one of the funniest comparisons. Like,
that is at once a huge compliment, a giant insult.
I was like, man, that is a great career descriptor. I love it.
Yeah, you're like Norman Lear if he did shitty kid shows.
Great, I love it. All right, so I want to be the Aaron Sorkin of puppets. So I've also watched Good Fight, Mysterious Benedict Society, which I think is about to wrap up. I enjoy the shit out of that show. Wes Anderson's Willy Wonka is so great. White Lotus, which I've continued to enjoy. I have no idea who the dead body's going to be. Honest to God, anybody in this fucking place could get killed. I don't know if it's going to be a murder or a drug overdose or just a heart attack during sex or what.
Man, I can't. White Lotus for me is like, it's like Car Crash. Like I kind of want to watch, but I don't enjoy watching it.
It takes what like things like Dynasty I think are trying to do, like the satire of weird rich people, but it kicks it to a notch that I'm like, okay, this is great. I don't know which of you is going to explode first, but the fallout's going to kill everyone in Hawaii.
Crazy rich Caucasians.
Molly Shannon. Basically. Molly Shannon showed up as the mom of the married couple. So his mom that he keeps calling
Yeah.
Frechette is Molly Shannon, and she shows up, and it like it's not the idea of the guy running the hotel, but he takes such glee in showing her to the room and like, I've got a surprise for you. It's your mom on your honeymoon. It's insane. Like Steve Zahn finds out that his dad, his like super manly man dad, who's long dead, had a secret gay life, and spends like a whole day, like half day just catatonic, and then a half day just drinking. And the more he drinks, the more he just holds court with like opinions about everything. Like at some point in your marriage, sex is just like eating a plate of worms on Fear Factor. Like, you know, you can do it, but like his son's just sitting there slack faced, like, what the shit, Dad?
See, if anything gets me to go back to watch it is because Steve Zahn and Connie Britton are in it. They're both fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it's just getting nuttier and nuttier. So I'm waiting to see who dies. It's gonna be somebody. John Grease is on it at this point.
Man,
it's nuts. Yeah. Let's see. Once Upon a Time. Why the fuck did I watch? Oh no, it's like I was like, why am I watching that show? No, I mean Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes so much more sense.
Absolutely. I had a moment of like, if we watched that show and then cold blanked it out, that actually proves like a college thesis that I have about Once Upon a Time. That it's that boring. No, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Fanny has been on a 70s murder tear after watching Mindhunter, and so she wanted to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which she'd never seen. I was like, fuck it, I'll rewatch that. That movie is only interesting because of what you know about it in retrospect. You already know the cool shit that happens with the characters, and so it's cool going in. But we got an hour in, and she looked over and went, I should be interested in somebody, right? Like there's like a dozen characters at this point, and we haven't even gotten to the Spawn Ranch scene with the moccasins and the knife and shit. Like all we've seen, like at that point, we were coming up on Brad Pitt throwing Bruce Lee into the car, and I was like, all right, hang on. Like one of the three things that I think are must see in this movie is about to happen, and it happened, and she was like, so the central tension of this movie is that Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't want to go to Italy and be famous. I was like, I can't argue with it. You're right. We're just rambling along, ramblers.
So it's funny. I would not recommend then reading the novelization, which is what I read. Tarantino's novel. That was the audiobook that I read, and it's Jennifer Jason Leigh reading it. And here's the thing: I love Tarantino for all his diverse. Like, I wouldn't want to spend 2 minutes in a room with the guy. I think I'd punch him in the face.
Is this his way of giving women dialogue?
But and listening and reading to this novel where he's even less edited than his movies.
Oh boy,
it is definitely like no one is there to tell him, hey, nobody gives a shit about your 20-minute introspection about this 70s movie thing. Don't go down that rabbit hole. It's not germane to anything. And yet, I still find it fascinating, and I still really enjoyed it. But man, you want to talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? If you think the movie wasn't interesting, you would fucking hate the novelization because it goes down even further down weird rabbit holes, and it makes the character of Cliff Booth, I think, was supposed to be a scumbag, and it's only because he's got Brad Pitt playing him that you like him.
Mm-hmm. I think you might be right.
Well, I mean, even Shane Black didn't actually write a pulp novel. God damn.
If you look up self-indulgent in the dictionary, it's a picture of Quentin Tarantino. Yeah.
Very dark. It says all the way up his ass.
No, it's the definition of the self-indulgent, which you fucking are, Quinn.
So we literally at an hour into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I mean, all her points were valid, and I could make no. It's like, I mean, I've seen this, and I did not enjoy it, but like, I get it. I am pass on most of Tarantino movies at this point. We stopped it and went over and watched The Nice Guys instead.
Yeah, that fits. It's funny. I watched that with Megan, and she not nice, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she fell asleep about halfway through, but she was enjoying it and was going to go back to it at some point. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I also think
it's a long one too.
It's a movie that for whatever reason, one of the times I was visiting my dad before he passed, he was like geeking out about, to the point that we rented it on VOD, like on demand.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you have to see it. I will watch it again right now. You've got to see this movie. It's fucking great. And so I'm sure a lot of my initial enjoyment, despite dislike for Tarantino, stemmed from that.
Yeah.
But we jumped over and watched Nice Guys, which was super fun again.
Of course.
And honestly, because it does have that pulp novel weirdly complex, like you two dipshits don't really know the scope of what's happening to you.
Yes.
It's really more fun to keep rewatching because the jokes are still there and are still funny. And you get to really see that, like, oh yeah, no, there's the two Detroit dudes. Okay, there's that
Yeah.
guy. All right. This is who everybody is. Lisa's been watching *Halt and Catch Fire*, so I've got to rewatch some of that.
Yeah.
I love realizing like the weird alternate history shit that keeps getting invented just offhand. Of like, I think that guy in the background just did Craigslist. Like, like so y'all are AOL then? Okay.
That's Rory Cochran's in that, right? *Halt and Catch Fire*, and he like the
No,
not Roy Cochran, Roy Calhoun, Roy something, right?
no. Are you thinking what Rory Culkin thing? Is that Succession?
No, the guy who is on Physical as the husband. I thought he was also the husband in the
No.
computer company. He's
It's
not.
like Scoot McNairy, I think.
Scoot McNairy. Scoot McNairy. That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
Isn't
okay.
Scoot McNairy also? Isn't he also in Physical?
I don't
am I
know.
mistaken?
I haven't kept up with Physical.
Or is he somebody else? Maybe it's the same guy. And they all look. They're Weasley white guys. They're a dime a dozen. So.
Yeah, the name Scoot is really what makes that dude super special.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's him. Cameron Howe is played by Mackenzie Davis, that was the new Terminator, and whatever Dark Fate. And then Lee Pace.
Yeah, and Lee Pace, and he's great in it. He's playing the Don Draper role.
The secret weapon on that show is Toby Huss as Boz. They're all super computer nerds in the 80s, and they've got this one like old school salesman. Like he's used to standing there telling dirty jokes with a scotch in his hand and a cigarette to a bunch of sales guys before they close the deal about the carburetors. Or like he's absolutely the like I'll slap guaranteed on the side of a box, take a shit in it. You like he's that dude. So like there's several times where like these nerds don't know what is happening to them in this business meeting, and he's like, shut up for a moment, and walks over and like I recognize this bullshit, and like walks over to some other room where like some other dude is. He's like, that's the one boss in this building, let me go. Like there's just great moments where Toby Huss fucking saves him.
Yeah,
we watched John Oliver, and then to get over that we watched Letterkenny. John Oliver's wonderful. It's just watching this British guy astutely point out with a lot of humor this, details of a problem and what, rather straightforward things we can do to solve it. And every time I'm like, but John, hear me out. What if we just don't? And every time I come out of it and I'm like, fuck, we've got to watch something upbeat. Jesus God. Which Parks and Rec do I not recite in my sleep? Let's just watch that right now.
Right. Yeah.
Ted Lasso, thank God, is back. So that's the homework this week kept it up.
What about you, Kyle?
So I finally caught the new Fast and the Furious this weekend.
F9, the Fast Saga.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it, Kyle. I heard it was about family, but I don't want to know.
Man, there are times in that movie where, and for the people who've seen it, I'd love your opinion, but it seems like they're playing this improv game where they're trying to not say the word family, but every like bit of dialogue leads up to, yeah, what are we? We're like a group of people.
If you were to tell me that the action scenes are scripted, but that all the other dialogue was basically them improvising in a game, not saying the word family, I would believe you. That would make so much sense.
There's a family jar by the monitor, and like Vin Diesel just like everybody has to pull out like a folded wad, like $1,000, and throw it into the.
It's actually an empty Corona bottle.
Yes, with a QR code to Venmo to the family jar. COVID.
I also loved it. Something I always noticed about James Bond movies was like, damn, whoever's playing James Bond gets to go on this awesome vacation, all these cool spots.
Yeah.
It seemed like the movie would take breaks so Vin Diesel could just jet set to like some exotic locale. And then it's like a scene of him meeting up with somebody, but he's like on a beach or in like a fancy building, or there's a couple of those. I was like, it's good to be king.
Sure. For sure. Did you dig it though? I loved it. I thought it was super fun.
I did. Even though there was a ton of stuff from like plot hole, like that's dumb, like this is weird. But then I got to the end of it and I was like, man, that was actually pretty good though.
Man, you gotta watch the pitch meeting for it. That's
I've been saving that one. Oh, I can't wait. The problem is those usually come out before I see the movie. So then when I watch the movie, I forget to go back.
You can jump a car through.
Got my regular rotation. We tend to be watching Lego Masters first out of like all
I'm so behind.
game show and reality show stuff. Making It is also pretty good this season.
That's what I need to.
And then The Hustler is one that just impresses me every time.
Yeah, behind on that one too. I got a couple episodes to catch up on.
I'm learning some new strategies in that game. Like
I still think I've never once spotted The Hustler. I'm almost sure I fucked it up every time.
oh, you should watch these new ones. There might be one waiting for you.
All right.
Is that why you're so bad at Stranger Than Fanfiction?
It may be. It may be.
But all that to say,
He still thinks your name is Nick, for fuck's sake. I mean,
no, TV Diaries gives me this fantastic opportunity to talk about the show that you guys are probably going to watch in a year from now. But that is the new season of Rick and Morty. And this episode was the Go Ferrets episode that makes fun of foremost like crime and mob movies like Casino, Goodfellas, Godfather, you name it. But then it also makes fun of like adult toy collectors and like adults who have toys.
Wait, are they adults that are toy collectors, or are they collectors that
Adult
collect adult
toys?
toys?
that's what I was confused about. I mean, like,
That
most
is a good distinction I should probably make for the people listening. No, like action figures, like adults who collect children's toys.
everybody knows, like,
Gotcha.
buying adult toys can be
The sexier one. I gotcha.
a slippery
Yeah.
slope.
No, Rick is essentially collecting these kaiju fighting robots called the Go Ferrets. And if you get all 5 Go Ferrets, it makes the Ultra Gotron ferret. But then it quickly turns into a mob movie where he realizes, oh, if I get 10 ferrets from another universe, then that's a Gotron. And then I get those ferrets to, get some more ferrets in there. And now it's like this multi-level like pyramid scheme. Oh, and then there's this he brings in multiverse Ricks, and there's a hothead Rick who it's like, man, this guy sucks. You never know what he's gonna blow. And yeah, just out of nowhere, hothead Rick just goes up. It's great. Without spoiling anything, so much good stuff to look forward to.
I don't know that Rick and Morty should be making fun of toy collectors. I feel like the Venn diagram of people who watch Rick and Morty and people who buy action figures is a fucking circle.
It doesn't matter, Randy. This entire show is about making fun of the type of people that love this show.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know, like, there's going to be
There
like
you
a
go.
French prison island someday that has Dan
Ever
Harmon.
since season 2 hit, Dan Harmon's basically been trying to like alienate his fans, but like in a smart way, so
Yeah.
it never happens.
Yeah, Parker and Stone and Harmon and Royland are going to have to live on a tiny French prison island for safety to the end of their days because of poking the fan base they created. Like Ryan Johnson will like come in for holidays. Like, knives out, buddies.
The Rick and Morty holiday special by Ryan Johnson. There's even more Wookiee porn in this.
No, it's a fantastic
I
episode.
believe that's
And
making
the
Wookiee.
post-credit scene is like one of their best.
What about you? I'm looking, Nick, at your list, and you seem to have gone on a bit of a vampire kick here.
Yeah, I actually rewatched the Dracula series on Netflix.
Hey, Nick.
Hey,
Nick. Hey, Nick, the show sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Stephen Moffat you're talking about.
I knew it was coming. It still hurt.
Oh man, I liked that show. I maintain it was good.
That
I don't
show, I really like the first 2 episodes.
I didn't hate the twist. I did not hate the twist.
What's the twist?
The time jump.
Episode 3.
Oh, the time jump. I don't really consider that a twist. The problem I had with the 3rd episode is really everything after the lawyer come and gets him out of the black site.
Yeah,
I guess it wasn't technically a black site. It was a public company, but still it felt like a black site.
yeah.
And that's fucking stupid. That's so like, oh, how is Dracula get out of this secret base or whatever? He's gonna mesmerize his way out of it? Is he gonna like shift into shadow, use his animal powers to to escape with like bugs and stuff? No, he calls a lawyer like a bitch. And
Rich bitch.
And then the whole rest of that episode proceeds like that of like, he doesn't really do anything cool. He doesn't really murder almost anyone except for one girl he's really into, their Lucy whatever, who is an insufferable character, and it deserves her wretched fate by the end of it. So I have no, and it's as a character I have no connection to. He just looks like the previous character from the Jonathan or whatever from episode 1. That episode 3, I watching it again. I realized, oh, I really did not like this. I was
gonna say, why did you rewatch this?
No, the last episode ruined that show for me too. Like,
yeah, and then even before like the whole like, oh, you're not vulnerable to the sun. It's all in your head. Oh, really? Oh, Dracula just never accidentally put his hand in the sun for thousands of years.
That was
never
dumb.
went. Oh, I don't actually burn. Like,
That was dumb.
Okay, whatever.
no, I was told when I was a boy, if my epidermis shows, I'll get cooties. You've never checked this?
So after that, I watched, believe it or not, Hansel and Gretel, the Witch Hunters,
Sure.
and I like that movie. There's a troll in that movie, the practical troll, and that troll is awesome.
Is that a reference to the effect, or is there something about this troll character that, like, is his name
No,
Practical
he's just
Troll?
very frugal. He lives under a
he's-
bridge. He charges sales tax, so the government can't come after him.
But his toll is set to a price so that the sales tax makes it to like a round dollar.
Yeah, and
Like-
it's a sliding scale. Like if you're a rich man, you got to pay a higher toll. But if you're a poor man, you pay him a lesser toll. He's a very practical.
Very practical.
I don't want to get into the economics about it.
But it all makes sense if you do the research.
Some folks call it a suspension bridge.
Yeah, and so I watched everything kind of like that I could find, like with Dracula, and I only watched the Dracula movies. I was like, okay, not just vampire movies, specifically Dracula. What's my favorite Dracula portrayal? And it was like Dracula Untold with the guy that's not Orlando Bloom.
Yep.
Luke Evans, that's his name. When they tried to start the monster universe the first, maybe second time, who can even say at this point? And then I watched Dracula 2000 with Jerry B. And wow. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. And Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is still like a movie that is saved by Gary Oldman.
Believe you mean Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Zack Snyder's Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I feel like you missed a couple tricks here, Nick. I feel you missed out on watching Mick Rory as Dracula in Blade 3, and
Right.
and of course Van Helsing. If you're looking for something really, really,
Oh boy,
in the
I don't
same
know if I
vein.
could do that.
There's also Queen of the Damned.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And,
That doesn't have Dracula. That is Lestat in it.
Lestat. But
and Dead and Loving It.
yes, but there is.
Oh, why do I know Lestat's in that movie? Fuck.
And I think it's just called Dracula, the one that has Jack Palance. It's
Oh
Dracula.
fuck, that's weird. I don't like that.
Yes, Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1974.
Wow.
Richard Matheson directing, Jack Palance as Dracula. And
How have there been so many Dracula movies and so many not good ones?
Yeah, we're really struggling for that, aren't we?
life is all about one thing: blood.
How is Charles Dance not Dracula?
How is Fright Night better than any Dracula movie?
True.
Oh
Facts.
shit! And no matter which one you say, either that or
Right.
the remake, it's
It
true.
doesn't. That's
Fuck.
still true. Yeah.
I would take Fright Night over Bram Stoker's Dracula, honestly.
How is Vamps better than most of the Dracula movies?
Oh,
Oh man.
that is well. At least we have I Frankenstein. So that's
yeah.
we always have the Frankenstein mythos that's been remained pure. Meanwhile, Creature of the Black Lagoon can't get shit.
No, man, nobody likes Creature from Black Lagoon.
Well, the industry is racist.
That's true. Against
If he was from a white
swamp men.
lagoon, they would have liked it.
Randy, I have to ask, were you referring to Vamps singular or Vamps plural?
Vamps plural with Grace Jones.
That's
Grace
Vamp
Jones.
singular.
Oh, is that
You talking
Vamp?
about the
That's
86? That's Vamp. Vamp
That's Vamp.
is a
Oh,
Kristen
okay.
Ritter, Amy Heckerling movie from a few years ago that is terrible.
Oh,
I want it
Jesus,
to be.
no.
I want it to be so much better. Than it. Alicia Silverstone and Kristen Ritter play vampires, and it sucked. Not
Oh, that's
damn
terrible.
it! I didn't even mean that pun.
That's so bad. That makes me so sad to know that exists.
Mm-hmm. Sigourney Weaver's in it. Wallace Shawn. Amy Heckerling directed it.
Oh man, this
Stop naming people. You're making me sad.
So Nick, beyond watching a bunch of really terrible Dracula movies, what else do you watch?
I don't need to be told which Dracula I am, Randy. The movies that made us, I watched the Jurassic Park one.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I love the Jurassic Park one because they're really, really struggling to make some conflict in it, like that it might not work. Like, but there's almost no point in the making of that movie where they didn't know they were gonna like make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna make all the money in the world. This movie's gonna be great. Like, it's just one thing, and then we wanted to do this, and then we did it on time and on budget, and then we wanted this actor, and then we called them, and they said yes.
So there was no point where like a raptor got loose and ate anybody here.
No, like it's just like everyone, like Sam Neill is like, well, Steven Spielberg, the maestro, called me and said, hey, you want to make a dinosaur movie? And I was like, I'm about to make some buco money and royalties, baby.
I think the worst thing that happens to anybody is that Sam Neill got differing advice or on instructions on how to do his accent in the first few days of filming. So his accent in the movie is like not his accent, or it's very. And he was like, I know everybody just thinks I can't do an American accent. I get told it all the time now.
Yeah,
because they were like, no, dial back the Aussie, not full Aussie, please stop.
Yeah, and then he cries into his dollar bills.
Yes, yes, it's unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cries into Phil
I love
beard.
like. I love like most stories about how like masterpieces get made like on accident, and just you know, even Jaws was like a shit show of a film shoot. But I just love finding a movie like a story that like it pretty much went the way we wanted it. It really broke for us,
just like we expected.
Turned out getting the hottest director to do big dinosaurs and redefine effects. Yeah.
They did a really great Spielberg documentary on HBO a couple years ago. Somebody they snagged from PBS who now works for HBO did it, but man, it was solid. It's so fascinating, like his life before Jaws and after Jaws, because that was essentially just like everything changed, and like everybody knew who he was after that.
I deeply want
he changed cinema.
I want a real documentary on the making of Poltergeist. I mean, there may be one out there I don't know about, but on the making of Poltergeist, because from what little I've heard, Spielberg just couldn't put his name on that.
But basically, it's his movie.
But was on set and directed it, and Hooper. That's why no other Tobe Hooper movie quite looks like that.
Yeah.
But I would love to know. I would love to know the whatever Warren Commission 50 years after.
What else? What else, Nick?
Because of the Masters of the Universe we watched last week, I went back and watched the She-Ra series that they rebooted. I really like that series. I like that they like actually had the courage to commit to the like LGBTQ thing by the end of it. Although they fucked around so long with it, I thought they were gonna pull a Voltron. But yeah, I'm like, I was watching and I'm like, wait, Kevin Smith fans are mad that the new one is too woke. Like,
yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with he specifically was like, oh, it's not going to be about She-Ra. Like, I think he said things in like the press beforehand to like lead people to believe that He-Man was going to be in every episode. So now people are just like, screw you lied to us.
Yeah, but how sad is your life if the thing that really upsets you is a He-Man is in every episode of Masters of the Universe?
Are you telling me that that people are upset because Kevin Smith told them something was going to be more awesome than it actually was?
For the win.
Right. I haven't looked, but I feel like there are interviews where he hyped yoga hosers. Surely, right?
Yeah.
And Tusk.
And Tusk. I found Tusk more watchable. That was just disgusting body horror. Yoga hosers.
Hey, maybe don't listen to that guy. I don't know.
Right? No, I mean, what would marketing departments do without those guys, though?
Yeah.
I feel like the entire marketing push for that show was enraging. Men's rights work.
Somebody in marketing is like, should we lie to the fans? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, we should lie to the fans.
Yeah.
What's the best way to get word out to the entire nostalgic toy market? Well,
Marvel gets away with it.
Yeah.
we can throw a Molotov cocktail right into the middle of the incel crowd. That'll do it.
I don't feel like creating buzz this week. Let's throw some woke shit in there. People get mad. Let's do it. Just a lazy weekend for the
Millennial,
advertisers.
types 5 things into a computer on a Monday morning and back out.
Just talks out.
That's about 40 hours, motherfucker.
And then I watched the first episode of Justified again. Might be doing a rewatch of that. I was worried because that's a show based off of a character that learns how to quick draw so that he can shoot people.
Yeah,
and it works. Like
I rewatched season 1 and 2 during COVID, and during some of the really heinous Black Lives Matter shit that was going on, where it was like, I don't want to watch any shows about cops. And yet, despite that, because Raylan is portrayed as such a dipshit, he's only likable because Timothy Olyphant's playing him. He is clearly an unhinged madman who should not be given a gun. And
no,
it's really good.
You just don't remember. The show is like, hey, we're not really on this guy's side. He really, especially in season 1, he fucks everything so far up the ass.
He's likable enough, but his boss is going to yell at him at the end. He's going to be right. Yeah,
and I love Art. I love his yelling.
Not such a big fan of Nick Cersei, but I loved Art.
Yeah, the whole premise is basically. I like that the first episode reminds me of the last episode because they keep asking him that gun thug or whatever, if the time was up, or if they didn't give you the option, would you have shot him anyway?
Yeah,
because if he hadn't have pulled first. And he gets that's basically the answer. We get that question answered throughout the series. That's the only thing we get really answered about Raylan is that he gets that face off with Boyd, and he's and he wants him to draw down, he wants to pop him. He hates this guy, and Boyd doubles down nah, you won't do it. I bet you won't do it if I don't pull, and it proves that he has a line. He does stick to his guns on that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna start a rewatch of that. But I'm not 100% sure. It's a really long series at this point.
For sure. Yeah. All right, well that's our TV diaries, which means it's time for our other regular segment. Truth is stranger than fan fiction.
Imagine, if you will, a reality containing television programs so bizarre they are indistinguishable from the ravings of a madman. Is the show you are about to hear simply a fabrication in the mind of a man with clearly nothing better to do with his time? Or is the truth indeed stranger than fan fiction?
Oh my goodness. All right, so Randy, you're back from off the you got a week off from this.
I still listened to it though. What was I doing?
Why did you do that though?
Came to school on a Saturday.
I tried to spare you last week. You weren't here for that one, and it was awful.
And I was wrong, by the way, because I guessed along with the show, and I'm like, I don't think that's real.
All right, P and D.
I will take D.
Randy, I'm about to give you the D.
Oh God.
This show is another sexual show. Great.
An anime that has inappropriate sexual content? No.
Yep. Well, this one is not the last week. It's not that, people didn't quit halfway through this on all levels of staff. So, this has a full season. It's about a girl in high school. It's like Sailor Moon. She gets powers. It's like a parody, but the Sailor Moon powers are active only based. They're active only based off of sexual activity, or some they call it love affection or something. I don't know what they mean, but kissing works for some people. She gets the kiss power. Yeah, she gets a team of dudes on one side and girls on the other, and then whoever she kisses, she gets powers based off of that. And she spits out fire, and the one she can breathe water or breathe ice breath or whatever when she kisses the other one, and then the other one she can breathe out the concept of time. which is as long as she holds her breath, the time stops, I guess. So when she's breathing outwards, I guess that is just time moving forward regularly. I guess it was too we got too many regular powers. What's one of the weird X-Men?
Let's take 7 minutes in heaven to like a whole other degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, not any of the famous ones. The Morlocks. Like the B-list of the Morlocks. And we'll put those powers in there. Yeah, and she basically faces off against villains, like a team up of villains. One is like, and each one's got their own harem.
What do they have to do for powers?
Let's see, one was a dude that he was a breast man. So he would get like fire hands if he rubbed second base on one girl. He got what was it? Steel hands, but not just regular steel hands, like they're giant, like they're impractical. They're like Hulk hands. They're like Hulk hands if they were like actually made you strong. I don't know. And he has to rub a really muscular dude on the chest there, and he's very afraid all the time. Because this guy just kind of looking down at him. I don't know if this is their kink. They never actually conflate it to sex, but I can only imagine that after this show goes off, things get fucking weird. Let's see, one girl is oh right, it's like basically like she's ass one. She's basically the same thing as a breast man, but with asses. Who else? There was one guy. He's real weird. He does feet.
Of course he does.
Right. And he's even by anime standards, he's the weird one. And I'm like, oh, there's appealing to a Western audience. Yeah, he gets different powers based off of rubbing the feet. He's more versatile because he can also lick the feet and get powers based off of that. And like the more versatile you are with your sexual body part, the more powers you get, I think.
We're gonna have to start putting a fucking content warning on this segment. Jesus.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I mean, we're discussing anime. Like, does that not start with a content warning?
It probably should. Warning, there's gonna be some weird anime shit. It's probably gonna be weird sex shit.
Oh, and then
they mosaic it out if there's pubes, it's fine.
One guy has a sexual relationship with food, which I don't get. That doesn't work. That's an inanimate object. That makes no sense.
You've never seen American Pie?
Yeah, I was like, was his name
See, he should have done that. He fucks an ice cream sundae, which makes no sense.
There's a whole section of FetLife that would probably disagree with you. Gonna bomb you with videos, dude.
You know what? I love to be educated. Let's do this.
There's a Czechoslovakian stop motion that you should see.
Oh boy. Well, on that note, is this show, guys, a Czechoslovakian stop motion show I saw one day and get a horrible dream about, or is the truth actually stranger than fan fiction?
I'm gonna go last because I'm usually wrong. Kyle, what
Randy,
do you think?
You picked first, so you go first.
Oh, I go first. Is that the rule?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think this is fake. I think it's 100% fake, and it just got weirder as you went along. Not that I don't think this could exist, but I don't think it does exist.
Okay.
I completely disagree with you. I think this is 100% real. I feel like I'm learning Nick's style of writing, like where his ideas come from, and I feel like if this was really his idea, he'd just leave this in the spank bank. He wouldn't bring this out for the show.
Thank you, I guess. But also,
last
fuck you, Kyle.
tiebreaker.
No, this is real talk.
It's your superpower.
Maybe I'm just extra cynical this week, but this is real. The world made this happen.
The world made this happen. Okay, so Les is depressed enough about the state of the world this week to believe it. Kyle believes it based off of my lack of perversion sharing, I guess. I still am freaky, but I keep it to myself.
I don't think
and Randy thinks this shit is fake.
Yep.
Hey Randy.
Yep.
You're right.
Hey,
this is made up.
You made this up?
Yeah, 10 minutes ago, because I realized I didn't have a thing for the fake one.
Oh.
There
Well,
wasn't,
actually-
yeah, there wasn't enough specificity. I was like, I feel like this is fake. So, and I'm glad that's a good thing for reality that it's fake.
I don't know. Maybe it exists and you just haven't seen the show yet. There is time.
Yeah, maybe in the world.
To be fair,
where,
I didn't Google if this one actually already is real.
Yeah, I guess in the world where Dan Aykroyd made several Ghostbusters movies, this is real.
Well, I think of like sex criminals or girls. You know,
Sure.
once they do those
Yeah.
as live action or whatever, then
Right.
that's weird, freaky sex stuff.
It's true.
That's where I got the time travel sex idea. I was wondering. I was like, where do I remember that from? Sex criminals. Got it.
All right, this is a good reminder. You can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us $1 an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're continuing our journey into the Muppets universe with the Muppets Take Manhattan. We also have our $20 showrunner level. So if there are shows you want us to throw in a rotation, you can buy into that level. Give us a couple of ideas. In August, we'll be diving back into anime with Anohana and Psychopaths. I would like to reiterate, again, does not have to be anime. Totally okay with it not being anime. It's great if it's not anime. And definitely does not have to be whatever that shitty anime was that Nick was trying to convince you guys to get me to watch last week.
It could also be
Well,
wrestling.
they pulled it off of Funimation, so that can't happen. You're welcome, Randy.
Oh, we don't have Funimation anymore?
No, they pulled that show specifically off of
No. Funimation doesn't
Oh.
have last week's show anymore.
Wow, it was too bad for Funimation.
Yes, I think the
Jesus.
dubbing
Hey,
translator
they-
quit or something. I
We
don't know.
provide art here, like Kill la Kill, okay? We don't need any of that sexist, borderline, pedophilic, weird shit.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the shows this week because I think this
Well,
is a pretty good
Randy,
week for
hold
TV.
on a second.
Oh,
You,
sorry,
you've
what?
been gone for a while, so
What?
I
I was
have
gone
to
for
ask.
a week.
Well, I'm just not used to you explaining this tier anymore. Are you saying that people could pay $20
No,
and make us
No,
watch something
don't.
like the
don't.
more
just don't.
successful, oddly, season of Extreme Dinosaurs that was the spinoff of Street Sharks? And we could watch them, and I quote, Jurassicate their enemies?
No, Nick, I'm specifically not saying that. All right, let's talk Schmigadoon over on Apple Plus. There have been musical comedies so far, especially Lorne Michaels, one of the producers here. Tina Fey and her husband have done a bunch of them. Girls Five Eva. There's definitely some musicals. This one though is very much a straight up like love letter to musicals. At the same time, it's subverting it. It's Keegan-Michael Key and Cicely Strong as the leads, and they're a married couple they're not a married couple. They're a couple that's been dating for about 3 years. They're at that we should either get married or break up point. And on a camping trip, when they're fighting, they wind up in this weird throwback town where everything's a musical, and they can't seem to leave until they find true love with maybe somebody else. It is full of these colorful characters, and there seems to be some maybe modern day stuff lingering underneath the surface. And I thought this was fucking delightful. I loved this show. I watched all 4 episodes that are out so far.
Well, first I have to say that let's pay attention. I know you're looking up Extreme Dinosaurs. Don't you even try. I know you're not paying attention to this. You're looking that up. I didn't like this. I thought I would. I do like Keegan-Michael Key. I like the idea of like a musical. I guess my real problem is strangely not the jokes or anything. Those all work. The music's all fine. It's all really well choreographed and sung as well. But I think it's the two characters are really, their conflict is so, it makes neither of them look very good. They're both kind of.
I agree. I agree with that.
I think it's a problem that I don't care if they get out of this. Like, I don't know. There's something like where I'm not rooting for this relationship, and a lot of the show is really dependent on you like wanting these two to get together.
Oh, I
and
disagree.
I do not feel that at this point.
I disagree because I don't give a shit if they get together or who they get together with. I'm just enjoying the ride. I don't think I'm supposed to care whether they get out or not.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm also a little disappointed they're only making fun of one specific type of musical so far.
But they're not. There's references to well, I mean, so far, but there's references to so many musicals. Like it goes deep here. There's Music Man. There's
Well, yeah,
Oklahoma.
they reference, but they
there's
don't
Sound of
actually do a
Music.
full number that's kind of like those or whatever.
It's not like they come out and have sharks and jets.
Well, but they do because there's a Sound of Music that is like the backdrop is the do re mi scene and the song is a do re mi type song, but it's about fallopian tubes and shit. Like they are doing music riffs here.
I have a theory about that scene there. So we haven't heard Keegan-Michael Key sing yet. We've only heard Cecily Strong's character sing.
Right.
I wonder if when she breaks out in a song, she can only do songs she's heard before in musicals because she's a fan of musicals. That's why her songs sound like parodies of musicals we've heard.
I have a theory about where they're going with this that may address that issue that Nick is talking about. But I want to hear Les's take on this first.
You know, chaps, you make good points, and now I clearly see it. The way to fix dear Schmigadoon is just to PFT it. Paul F. Tompkins, something's wrong in Schmigadoon. What the heck, which exec was the buffoon? Oh, Mr. Tompkins, please come down and save the show. I kinda dig it, but there's something I don't know. A missing part, a man of art with tie of bow. Oh, Mr. Tompkins, what were we talking about?
That's so long.
Oh my God! We have
those lyrics and
we
send
have
them to
to.
me.
We have to shut the show down now because that's the best it's gonna get. That's fucking great. I love that.
TV dudes show.
No, but for real, how the fuck
So
does
much
Paul F.
work went into that.
I even looked up on IMDb just to make sure that in some episode I had not yet seen that Paul F. Tompkins was not eventually going to show up on this show, and he does not, and I can't figure out what the fuck. Like it seems like a personal insult. Like Alan Cumming slapped him with a glove and threw it down and was like, "If you don't love me, leave."
He was busy being the racist podcaster over on Brotherhood Falls on Peacock.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he's talking about the white babies. He had no time to sing about them.
And Paul F. Tompkins is famously very busy and doesn't have time to do 100 shows.
So I really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. Lisa watched it and thought, meh. Fanny watched the commercial for it, was like, that's not for me. I like Gallivant. I generally like cheeseball musicals, and I really like it's hard to sell in a commercial because you would have to have characters going, fuck this show, I'm out. But I really like having like Keegan walk through and like, can we opt out of this song?
Yeah,
No.
I love the early parts where he's like, oh, great, you're singing. Look, we don't need this. You don't have to. Where he thinks it's just a theme part.
Yeah, or even when they figure out it's magical, it's like, stop, damn it.
Later on,
You know what, fuck it, let's make it a number.
I could, we could do this without that.
Without the song. Yeah, I don't want to do this. I do love his stubbornness. I can't wait to watch him break. But also, I have this feeling, because they're moving forward they keep doing different stuff. I have this feeling that we're going to see some other musicals that we've got the mayor coming out as gay, which is a very progressive thing and breaks the reality. And I have this feeling that opens up them to do like Rent and stuff like that. And I have this feeling as they move forward, and there's God, what's her name of the woman who's the religious person?
Strong?
Oh no,
Kristen Chenoweth.
Yes.
Oh no,
Kristen Chenoweth, who I fucking love. I love Kristen Chenoweth, and I love her, and she is like, she gets that glimmer in her eye when the mayor comes out as gay that, oh, she's going to run for mayor. And if there's going to be politics, there's going to be Hamilton shit. You know there's going to be Hamilton shit. So I have a feeling we're going to see all different styles of musicals as they go forward, and that's what the show's going to be about, is the Schmigadoon changing around them, and not whether or not they have a relationship. I think it's going to be a love letter to musicals in a way. I could be wrong on that, but that's the vibe I'm getting.
I'm enjoying it so
I
far,
got
but they
more
feel stuck in Oklahoma to me, or Seven Brides for Seven
This
Brothers.
sounds like the season 1's going to be Sound of Music, and then next season they'll probably do something else if they think they're going to get one.
See, I feel like
Apple
this
TV's
is like
got buckets of money.
This is like if WandaVision had been all about the nostalgia TV stuff, and I wanted it to be. That's what this is. It's like, this is just straight up like nostalgia for musicals. They do reference, I don't know, the Scoundrel guy. I don't know exactly which musical that's from, but that's from another musical I know for sure.
You're talking about the Doctor?
No, the Scoundrel that she sleeps with in the first or second
Danny
episode.
Bailey.
Danny
the
Bailey.
rapscallion.
That's
the
an archetype.
rapscallion, yeah.
That's an archetype. It's from something. I haven't seen all these musicals. Like I've never seen The Music Man. I just know enough to know about it.
I am
Mhm.
But like,
deeply glad that unlike WandaVision, we didn't go 2 episodes with Cecily Strong not knowing that they were in a magic town.
yes, that's true. Yeah. I loved this. I did not love Gallivant, and I expected that I would, but I was not crazy about it. This makes me want to go back and watch Gallivant. I'm like, oh right, I like musical comedies, and they can be a little cheesy, and I can still get along with it. I was very pleased with this. I also, to be honest, have a huge crush on, is it Cecily Strong?
Yep.
I've always liked her in Saturday Night Live sketches, and I like seeing her get a little bit more to do here. I think she's great. So,
Yeah, no, this is fun.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gal.
Oh no, I have very, very small opinions. I don't have such analytical.
It's not about how the size of them. It's how you express them.
This show's funny. They sing.
So you didn't think this show? No.
Well, it also has like one of my pet peeves, which is there's like a storyline of like not true love because Keegan Michael Key is comfortable, and it's like that's a type of love too. He just wants a different type of thing than she does. He's not wrong. He just wants a different thing.
Yeah,
and like it's kind of making it to where like it's. I don't like. Yeah, I've had different types of relationships. One's like Keegan has, and one like, and they're both legitimate, and I don't like that. That one is like, oh, you have to be so romantic and into each other all the goddamn time.
Well, it's interesting. I don't see this portraying it that way. I actually feel like they're portraying it as them both being right, because he does subvert her expectations several times, where she's expecting him not to be romantic, and then he like dumps all the candy out for dessert. Like he has that romantic element to him, and she's asking too much. I feel like there's no way that he's the wrong one here.
I think that's a real. I don't know. By the end of this, I think it'll be the thing will be I'll be more romantic with you. I'll show my love or affection more. Like he'll finally sing.
Well,
and
see,
like,
I feel like they're gonna have to meet in the middle. I could be wrong. I don't know.
But did he?
That
vote
would be
for Trump,
crazy
right?
if he starts to sing and it's like really obviously the only musical this guy, like the one guy musical, you know?
All right, so let's talk about Never Have I Ever, which came back for its second season. This was one that I think I know at least I had a scare because they canceled the other one that had the long title, and I thought that meant we weren't getting any more of this. And I'm glad that we did because I loved it. And it came back, and the first episode back, I was like, there was a lot going on. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have rewatched because I'm not sure I know what all this stuff is. But I got into the swing of it. And then by the time of the end is the same as the first season. I was completely in love with it and just invested in all the characters. And even though Davy makes terrible mistakes all the time, I still love her.
She really McEnroes it up this season. Like whenever she does a really bad mistake and you hear that McEnroe voiceover, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. She's got McEnroe in her head.
Yep.
But it's also very realistic. Like this is what kids do in high school. They make really dumb decisions like this.
Yep.
Alienating friends, alienating boyfriends.
When season 1 came out, there were so many. It felt like there was a whole spate of teen shows around the same time, and I remember you really loving this one, Randy. And I watched half of the first season, I think, and I did not like it, but it just didn't grab me. And so I didn't go back and rewatch. I just started the second season and picked up pretty quick. They killed the one actor on the show that I don't care about because Heroes really, really pissed me off. I'm sorry. You will always be blamed for that. And also a bad run on Flash. No pun intended. So anyway, it picked up without. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, we took off the one actor I thought was a kind of crap actor. And this season's been great. I don't know if I didn't catch in the first season the other narrator voices.
They only did one episode.
They do that once. What's a season they do it? Last time it was Andy Samberg. This time it was some
Gigi Hadid.
person I did.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
I know she was hysterical.
She's a supermodel.
She's a supermodel.
She was great.
And she was perfect for Paxton's narrator.
Yep.
And then in her episode at one point, Sandberg jumps in.
Yes.
And she's like, nope.
You had your episode. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't see that one, Les, you should go back and watch
No,
the Sandberg episode.
So this season's really, I'm like 5 episodes in, and it really grabbed me differently. I don't know if there's just not like now it stands alone, having culled away every other, like it survived. But I want to go back and watch season 1 now because it seems like the whole cast is firing on all cylinders. I really like Ramona. Can't think of the actress's last name. One of her 2 besties that run interference for her at everything.
Les, you've been watching this show for like a really long time.
Santa Clarita Diet she's just great in everything, but
she also had a great backstory with her mom in season 1 that really developed that character for me. And like whenever they called back to the mom this season, I was like, oh yeah, you have this like whole thing that made you like, oh
yeah. I thought both those characters got really well developed this season. The story about the girl who's like lesbian, who's not hip enough to be a lesbian.
She doesn't know any pop culture and the texture.
And they're running for prom queen and queen. Like that whole runner was really good. The Disney Channel actor, bad boy, that whole thing was, you could spot it a mile away, but it was still enjoyable to watch. And also all the stuff with Common and her mom, I thought was really good.
That was heartbreaking. The episode where Davy finds out. Like,
well, it reminds me, there's a Veronica Mars early on did this thing where Keith was dating Paula Marshall, her like school counselor, and basically Veronica just freaks out, and he goes and he basically tells her, he's like, I can't date you. We're really great together, but my daughter's not ready for it. And she's like, yeah, this sucks. I can't bitch to my girlfriends about you being a really good dad. And I always thought that was such a good moment, and it recalls it here. They basically having to choose your kid over a romantic entanglement because they're not ready to replace their dad. It's such a really unique thing, and they do it such a good job with it. It's a very nuanced and just really well done. Also, I have to say, as someone who Megan lost her father, and I know several people, one of them in this room, virtually speaking, lost their father recently. There are so many fucking shows with dead dads.
I'm real over it.
And
I'll be real, man.
And they're comedies, and it's like, well, shit, I can't recommend this. Like, it gets real about it, and I'm like, fuck, this is really funny and really touching, but it's gonna hit differently.
Watching Schmigadoon and thinking, man, I miss Zoe's, and then thinking, yeah, but I could barely watch that show this year.
Yeah.
Well, someone told them that they couldn't do the dad left me storyline anymore. Like, well, he definitely can't be around. So I guess we'll kill him.
It's the Disney mom thing.
How do we make characters feel? Kill that man.
Yeah. So yeah, it works, and they play it well, and they don't overplay it. But I definitely, in watching it, I'm kind of sensitive to that, of the, oh shit, man, this makes what should be a light comedy kind of a hard watch for some people. Yeah, it's kind of like they have a content warning on Physical where it's like, hey, if you have an eating disorder, you may not want to watch this show.
I love the fact that the girl that has the John McEnroe running monologue in her head, if she's actually hearing that, has a healthier inner monologue than the chick from Physical.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Even John McEnroe would go like, whoa, maybe take it easy on yourself.
Yeah, McEnroe would be like, look, we all get angry.
Like, it's nothing to be that upset about.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, as far as the dead dad thing goes, Pixar, yes, I have a complicated relationship with my father. Please stop exploiting it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I watched the first episode of season 1, so I could jump to first episode of season 2. I hadn't watched this before.
Yeah.
And I felt like for a lot of it, I was like, I watched season 1 and I'm like, okay, so she's going to have a conflict with her friends on this one for the dating thing. This one already has a boyfriend, so that means the other one's gay. So then the boy she actually likes is kind of dumb, but the smart guy she hates, she's going to be into by the end of it. And I was right on almost everything.
Yep.
So I could watch season 2 and be like, got it. No problem.
I called Ben early on, but the thing you missed with the Ben character is that they really make you like kind of that asshole classmate of hers. There's a reason he got his own Andy Samberg episode. Like, really
that was the only thing I was like, wow, they must have changed something about that character because he was a dick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I actually really liked this. And I was like, after watching season 1, episode 1, I was like, oh, maybe I should go back and watch season 2 before I go through this. Which now that I know about the Jesse or Andy Samberg stuff and all the different voices, I definitely want to go back so I get the references for the next one.
Yeah.
Well, and even just that one episode, that Andy Samberg one, it's so good because you get so much of the Ben character, but then that's some of my favorite jokes, like where he meets a Rick and Morty guy. Like it's I won't even spoil it, but like the Rick and Morty thing is so funny.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's a lot, and also I love a lot of these little minor side characters. Paxton's buddy, who's like the weed guy, who's
Oh
like so
yeah.
dopey, but then occasionally has this like really insightful stuff.
When he
and who's
does the
like
wine
he's
sommelier.
super woke. Yeah, I mean,
Oh my God,
I
that's
love,
right.
Like all
Trent.
these guys.
Trent's about to open a Shiraz.
Yes.
Like the next scene, he's on doing a handstand and getting cans thrown at his
Yeah.
nuts.
Yep. Yeah. The characters have levels, and I really appreciate that. And I don't want to spoil it, but the way that her girlfriend, the girl who's the robotics club, the way that comes through at the end, works in a way that I thought was really sweet and really good. So yeah, this is I think it's just a really good show. It's really funny.
I thought of a really fun place they could go in season 2 as well. They kind of one of the themes they played with was Paxton maturing in this season. And they do a lot of misdirects where you think like, okay, this guy's an idiot. Like, he doesn't. And then he'll say something where you're like, oh, he's actually thinking really hard about this, but he just comes off as an idiot. I think it'd be really fun in season 3 if we see Trent start to mature and be like, we can't do this forever, bro. And Paxton becomes kind of more of the sidekick almost, and has to come to grips with, oh, maybe I'm not as cool as I thought I was.
Give me a Trent episode with Matthew McConaughey's voice. That's all I'm asking.
Oh yeah!
Oh shit!
Yes. Oh, that'd be good.
You know what I hope he says to that script when they offer him?
All right.
Be a lot cooler if he did.
Matthew McConaughey, are you in Never Have I Ever? Be a lot cooler if you were.
All right. Anybody have any final thoughts? Or are we moving on to dessert?
Dessert, baby.
All right. Ted Lasso is back.
Yay.
There are 2 episodes. This is the show that I have no problem saying this is the best show of last year. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I think when you looked at all the rankings,
We
and
did
like
the
all the
math on
shows, this was the show 2020 needed.
Mhm.
Yeah. But also, Apple Plus knows what it has too, because they came back and it was like returning. Like they knew that this was their breakout, and they knew this was their big show. The trouble is, man, sophomore slumps are a thing, and I was really worried about it. And honestly, the first episode back, I thought was a little weaker than a lot of the episodes have been.
I found myself nervous again, just like I was in the first season of like,
Yeah.
oh, but now they're setting up the show to go a direction I don't want it to go. And then
Please don't fuck
by
this
the end
up.
of the
And
second episode,
they kill a dog in the first 5 minutes.
God.
And I was like, oh fuck, what are you guys doing? This is hubris. What are you doing?
it's like,
you can't have the most
Steph.
you can't have the most lovable character in the show fucking kill a dog. That's what is wrong
so like
with
when
you?
a sitcom makes an unbelievable amount of money, like fucking $1 billion or whatever, and then the next season they start having like crazy celeb cameos and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like Ted Lasso built up so much emotional capital in season 1 that the big walk out, strut, spend our money move in season 2 was like, you love us so much, boom, that dog is dead.
Yeah, it's like,
You still love us.
that said, it's still a funny episode. Danny waking up from his cartoon nightmare, and there's 2 girls next to him.
Oh God,
I love that. Like
Well, of course
even
there are.
at his lowest, there's 2 girls next to him.
Yeah.
The bit Ted and Beard having that discussion about the Hamilton rap that they have back and forth, then the Gin Blossoms ref. There's stuff I really like. I'm a little nervous about where they're taking Nate. I don't want Nate to be a shitbag. I do not want that.
I'm so glad you said that. That was the only thing that I didn't like. And I know they're trying to make it like Nate's
Give him
supposed to be the
growth.
mean coach or the one that gets on him.
I don't like that.
But him immediately going to the guy that he immediately gets power and is immediately an asshole with it.
Yep.
I also
I don't
kind of
know.
like though that the guy he's being an asshole to is like the new Nate.
Yeah.
Like he's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And
I'll
also
just
like,
pick up all the shit.
They're all like Coach Beard and either Ted or Higgins both like exchange a look.
They're aware of it.
They see it, and that makes me feel like okay, well, we're going to address this. We're not going to let this go on.
And the show knows about it because they have Nate going, well, we can't bring Jamie back onto the team and have somebody that's just bad for, hey, you fucking knob. Like, what was
they're
I
aware
saying?
of it.
And I feel like they've just not gotten to it yet, that they're gonna have Ted have to do his Ted thing to teach Nate how to like not not
But
get revenge for years of
Well,
being abused.
The first episode also had a thing, I think, that Ted, I don't want to see Ted not succeed at things. And he was so flummoxed by the therapist.
Well, what
I'm like,
does he do if
I
Beard
don't-
does the soccer
Yeah,
stuff?
I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I want Ted to be the guy who can't get through to someone. But then it's sort of the second episode, they already have him breaking down her walls a little bit. So
Yeah.
You can't resist. So it's just eventually it's gonna happen. He's gonna break you down.
the rhythm is gonna get you.
That whole storyline caught me off guard, where I had this epiphany where I was like, oh yeah, he's a therapist. Like that's what he does, is he talks
Mhm.
to people and gets them to think about it. Like he is essentially delivering that like coach, good old boy therapy. And now in
Yeah.
season 2, there's somebody who's come to like take his
Yeah.
crown to challenge him.
What does Ted do if you have a team therapist and you have Beard that knows all the actual football rules? What's Ted do now? Yeah.
I also like that she's really cold, like the exact opposite of Ted.
Yeah.
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 Like I don't care how much you've earned your PhD. If you make people call you doctor, you're a fucking asshole.
Well, and,
Yeah.
Like-
and when Ted tries to
If
connect
people
to
can't
her,
call you doc.
she drops back behind a professional distance immediately. Like
Right.
she starts analyzing his attempt to befriend her rather
Right.
than
Yeah.
and when I brought that up, I had somebody point out to me of like, I mean, also she's the only black woman in this
Yeah.
admin, and that's like a aw shucks white American dude coach with a porn stash
Mhm.
that you don't fucking know, asking, like trying his
Yeah.
best to befriend you, and that she
Of course you
and I
put
was
walls
like,
up,
you know
yeah.
what, you're right, she does not owe him niceness, and I was glad that she is seeming to warm up some, but I'm interested to see where this goes. But like all things Ted Lasso, it keeps zigging where it ought to zag and surprising the fuck out of me.
Well, once you see that, like that's a thing, Les, that I hadn't thought about, but yeah, that the fact that she is like, she doesn't have any reason to think this guy isn't just some jackass sports
Like
guy.
we all did at the start of last season. Like
So of course her walls are up, and then she's a good therapist, so she quickly discovers, oh no, that's just him, and he's not. This is not a power move. This is just who he is.
This isn't a play.
And maybe it's okay to let down my walls a little bit, and I think that'll be interesting to see. Also, Roy Kent is fucking great.
He's
Oh,
here, he's
yeah.
there, he's
Every
every
fucking
fucking
where.
where, Roy Kent.
He has the best stuff in episode 1, whether it's the yelling at the
little
kids
kid.
at soccer, or and the little kid who he's like, way to sacrifice your body. He's like, you know it, coach. I love that. But then he has that speech to Rebecca in the parking lot where he's like, this guy's not good enough for you.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And
That
and it
was
like,
so good.
it's the best moment of episode
Yeah,
1.
absolutely.
By far. And then in episode 2,
He gets the best moment there too.
we do the thing with him and Keeley, and I thought that was going in a different direction. I'm really
Oh,
glad it did.
we all
When
know where that
you-
was going.
We all thought that video was going to be Jamie.
Jamie.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that was
when he's
perfect.
watching her have a wank
The
there.
show is basically like, we don't care how sure you are this is going to be what you are. We're going to get you again. And I was,
because
Well, it's because the world sucks as it on fire, and so like they keep walking me up to what I expect, and then
I don't know which one's worse. Like, it was like, oh, but you're being vulnerable. And also really crying a lot, though. That's kind of weird.
yeah.
Okay, but
Jamie would have been worse.
Roy's
Jamie
pain.
At the end of it, when he
worse.
puts it on and goes down on her, I was
oh my
like,
God, I was
Yep.
applauding.
I don't know if I needed to know this about the relationship.
Amazing.
So,
when he tells her like, oh no, it's okay, show me whatever you were watching, it's fine, we should be able to see each other's kinks, and
Yep.
then he volunteers his own. He's like, I watch people having sex in the woods. She's like, why?
why?
Because I could never be that free. And I was like, oh my
Yep,
God,
yep.
that's the most like straightforwardly boring kink. Of course, that's your.
Yep.
Roy
Yep.
Kent is such a weird. You think supposed to he's aggressive and like testosterone filled, so you think
Yeah.
toxic male.
Yeah.
But yet, like, there's always this thing of like, we fucking hate each other when we were playing. Now he's sending me flowers.
How does he know?
How did he know I love white orchids?
That's right.
He's got this
got a
core of
favorite
like
flower.
soft guy. Yeah.
I'm like,
absolutely.
who are you, Roy Kent? You confuse me. You're a roller coaster, my
I'm
friend.
glad I'm tall enough to ride this ride with you.
And then,
Oh,
man,
man.
when he's the pundit or whatever, and
Yes.
he realizes he likes yelling and complaining about football, and I'm like, oh wow, what a big shock.
Well, folks,
Yeah.
we apologize for almost everything Roy Kent just said.
I was surprised. I'm still afraid it might not work, but I'm surprised how well sad Jamie's working.
Right? I'm a little
Yeah.
because Jamie's such a shit, and,
And
you
he's
want him to
still
be
a shit.
Yeah.
But
He's silly shit, but he so wants daddy's love.
oh my god,
Mhm.
his being real. Well, I liked the little them doing a bit when he sits down at the bar of like, it's going great, it's all right, it's fine, you know, it's all shit, Ted.
He's all fucked up.
Yeah. I love this. This reminds me a little bit of the stuff I liked at the end of last season, where basically Beard got pissed at Ted about. He's like, no, it is about winning. We are fucking professional soccer coaches, and I think there's that push pull with Ted Lasso of like you say, he's a therapist. He wants to make people better. So bringing Jamie onto the team may or may not be good for the team, but it's good for Jamie, and he wants to do that for him. And Beard's not gonna be happy about that.
But what tips Ted is the therapist.
Yeah.
That's what makes him realize it's good for the team.
I think it's an easier sell when you have like how many ties in a row and no wins.
That's
right.
And that's what, when she's like, well, does everybody think it's doing fine? Not broke?
Yeah.
I think in his mind, he's like, we got to change something. So might as well be the thing that I can change and help another person with.
If you look at what they did last season from like the sports standpoint, the games where they only got 1 point, it was Jamie scoring the point. So if they have their game locked down like they did, you know, the Lasso special episode, Jamie might be the missing piece that turns the ties to W's. I bet you that's what's going through.
Without
Ted's
Jamie,
head.
the rest of the team came together. And now if they can stay together and add that ace back in.
Right.
But that's it. Can they
the
stay
solid
together
trick,
when you put the nitroglycerin in the mix?
And that might take Ted plus the therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see her go to town on Jamie.
Next episode has a little kid involved, and I am imagining that is the niece. That's probably what's her face, Sassy Smurf's daughter.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm wondering if next episode is going to be the return of Sassy Smurf to Ted's life.
Oh, I hope so.
I hope
love
so.
her.
I want that.
I liked her.
I want
hope
that
she
in
comes
season
back.
2. Yeah.
Wait, Sassy Smurf. Who are you guys talking about?
The lady when they did the road game.
Remember the woman that Ted slept with? Rebecca's friend.
Okay.
Yeah, after his breakdown or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
They were flirting, and she called him like what, MacGyver, and she called he called her
Magnum
Sassy
PI
Smurf.
or something like that.
Or Magnum PI. That was what it was.
And,
that was what it was.
And then, but she made mention that like she has a daughter who's this wonderful but that Rebecca hadn't seen her in years. Like they were like, she's like, I'm a shit aunt, I never seen her. So like I'm wondering if that's about to be the kid.
Also, it's a little thing, but I love that Rebecca just calls Higgins Leslie now. Like they're friends.
Yeah,
that's
a subtle little change. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, he had his moment, and I think she respects him more now.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Rebecca's changed a lot too. I mean, like she's just a lot more. Her girl talk shit with Keely is so great.
Oh man, it was so good.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I love Keely, and Keely is the secret weapon of the show. Keely,
she really is. Keely started out this show. We thought that she was maybe going to be like the cute bimbo-y type girl, and instead she's one of the sharpest people in it.
Yeah.
There's no shallow person in this show really.
No.
Like it's like even with Jamie, like I want him to come back on the team, not just because I like that actor and like what he's doing, but I'm like, no, that character I think deserves a little chance to like for redemption, and
this club
like they basically fixed. Yeah, they basically almost had him in the first season, like how they were working with him.
I'm not sure how deep Danny Rojas is. I love Danny Rojas.
Football
what do you mean?
Death, coach, but it's also life.
But it's also life. That's a little deeper than before.
Also football.
Football's now 2 things,
and it's also football.
So 3.
Also football.
I fucking love him. Oh man,
yeah.
He's the mascot who also scores the goals.
He is. I mean, he killed the only competition. He's the only puppy dog left now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm sure we'll be checking more in on Ted Lasso as it goes along. Next week brings us another round of dessert shows as Marvel's What If will start.
Ooh.
So it'll be interesting to talk about stuff going forward. But that is it for us this week. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank you, Randy. And fellas.
Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our patrons. And until next week.
TV Dudes out!
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.